Episode 7. A New Way to See Stress. Have you ever felt stressed and wished you could make it go away? Well, what if I told you that instead of trying to get rid of stress, you could learn to see it differently? This episode is all about changing how you think about stress, based on some cool research by smart people like McGonigal. Let's start with a big idea. The way you think about something can change how it affects you. This is called your mindset. Some clever scientists did studies to see if they could change people's mindsets about stress. They wanted to know if thinking differently about stress could make it less harmful and maybe even helpful. Now you might be wondering, do I have to be tricked into thinking differently about stress? Good news, you don't. It's kind of like when doctors give patients fake medicine, called a placebo, and tell them it's real. For a long time, people thought the fake medicine only worked if the patients didn't know it was fake. But guess what? Even when patients know they're getting fake medicine, it can still help them feel better. Isn't that wild? The same thing happens when we try to change how we think about stress. You don't need to be tricked. You can choose to think about stress in a new way, and it can still work. A researcher named Alia Crum did a cool study at a big company. She taught some workers a new way to think about stress. Here's what she told them to do. 1. Notice when you're feeling stressed. Just say to yourself, "Hey, I'm feeling stressed right now." 2. Think about why you're stressed. Usually it's because you care about something. So welcome the stress by thinking, "I'm stressed because this matters to me." 3. Use the energy from your stress to do something good. Instead of trying to calm down, ask yourself, what can I do right now that's important to me? The workers who learned this new way of thinking about stress felt better after just a few weeks. They were less worried and sad, felt healthier, and even did better at their jobs. And get this, they didn't have less stress. They just thought about it differently. So, how can you change how you think about stress? Here are 3 steps that work well. 1. Learn about the new way of thinking. That's what you're doing right now. 2. Practice the new way of thinking. Try out the 3 steps Alia Crum taught the workers. 3. Tell other people about what you've learned. Sharing the idea helps you remember it better. At Stanford University, there's a whole class about this new way of thinking about stress. Students learn about the science, try out new ways of dealing with stress, and share what they learn with each other. By the end of the class, most students feel better about handling stress in their lives. Here are some real examples of how this worked for people. One student had a son in the military. She used the new way of thinking to deal with worrying about him when she didn't know where he was. Another student had just left a bad marriage. Thinking differently about stress helped her believe she could start over and be okay. A student who got demoted at work was avoiding his co-workers. When he changed how he thought about stress, he was able to engage with his job again in a better way. Changing how you think about stress didn't make these people's problems go away, but it did help them deal with their problems better. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Changing how you think about something you've believed for a long time can be hard. If you've always thought stress was bad, it might feel weird to try and see something good in it. But if you're willing to give it a try, it could help you with all sorts of tough situations in your life. Throughout this episode, I've shared some ideas about how to change your mindset about stress. You could try the 3-step process. Notice your stress, welcome it because it means you care, and use its energy to do something important. You could also learn more about the science behind this idea, or share what you've learned with a friend. Remember, the goal isn't to never feel stressed. The goal is to see stress as something that can help you grow and become stronger. It's like that saying, it's not about the cards you're dealt, but how you play the hand. You might not be able to control the stressful things in your life, but you can control how you think about them and respond to them. So, what do you think? Are you ready to try looking at stress in a new way? It might not be easy, but it could make a big difference in your life. Why not give it a shot? You might be surprised at how much stronger and more capable you are when you see stress as a helper instead of an enemy.